Hey guys, my name is Rob, welcome to Kinetic Rugby League. In this video, I'll be giving you my Super League Round 23 predictions. I'll leave a recap of last week up on the screen for you now. As you can see, 4 out of 6. I was incorrect with St Helens and Castleford, took a bit of a long shot on Saints. I wasn't aware of all the players that were missing at the time of recording last week for St Helens, but I'll take it. 4 out of 6 is fine, but the thing I'm most impressed with is Salford. Have we kind of sorted out our differences here? Like, are we back on track? I have slight reservations, as it was my birthday last week when I recorded it on Monday. So it might have just been a one-time gift. So I'm still cautious, but they could be flirting with me also. But that's 96 out of 133 on the season. That is now including the Wigan versus Leigh game. I didn't really count it last week, but I've added it into this now, which is 72.18% on the season so far, which I'm okay with overall. And again, still trying to work to 75 to 80%. We'll see if we get there. But let's crack on with the first game of this week. Kicking things off, we have the Leeds Rhinos taking on the Catalans Dragons, starting with league position. Leeds sit in 8th, Catalans are in 5th. For recent form, both have won 2 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Leeds in 7th, Catalans in 8th. So right now, I think the defence of Leeds is working harder than it was. Certainly looks a little bit more organised than it was a few months ago. They do appear to be very strong through the middle. One key reason for that is Sam Lasoni. Like, he's been pretty strong all season, but I feel like he's been even more impactful over the last couple of weeks, which is great because he's a huge player, and you know, the more minutes you can get out of him, the better. But when he does come on, he's really, really impactful. And in front of the try line, puts Leeds in really good field position and sets them up nicely. Puts defences on the back foot as well. And it takes a lot of men to bring him down. So he's a real bright spark for that team at the moment. They seem to just be more organised in general. And coming up against a Catalans team right now that's very inconsistent on both sides of the ball. Poor defensively against Hull KR. I mean, Hull KR are a great attacking team, but still poor defensively. And they're really lacking on the attacking side right now. I think there's a great opportunity for Leeds to pick up a really important win. I think this will be a close game because Catalans at times, given the quality they have in their squad, it's not working out as a team, but it's hard to just completely write off Catalans as a team because of the individuals they've got that can make things happen. But I do think this is a great opponent for Leeds to take on right now because it's kind of a game where it's in their hands. They don't have to worry about getting a result from someone else. This is a team they need to beat. And it's a team that's really low on confidence and is has poor consistency at the moment. So I think Leeds will take some pride in their effort against Warrington last week as well. And I just think they're in a good position now. Not sure if Brodie Croft will be back this week. I'd like to think he would be, but with the personal things he's got going on in Australia, then, you know, we'll have to see what happens. But even if he wasn't there, I think there's still a possibility that Leeds can trouble Catalans because their attack with Lockie Miller looks a little bit more free at the moment as well to really create opportunities. And with this Catalans defence being a little bit out of shape at times, he can really cause a lot of issues. So I think Leeds can just get it done. So I'm gonna go with Leeds Rhinos 16, Catalans Dragons 14. Next up, we have the Castleford Tigers taking on the Warrington Wolves. Starting with league position, Castleford sit in 10th, Warrington are in 3rd. For recent form, the Tigers have won 1 in their last 5 Super League games. Warrington have won 4 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have the Castleford Tigers in 10th, Warrington Wolves in 3rd. So right now, the Tigers are a little bit too up and down on the attacking side for me. They can be good, they can be quick and expansive, especially with Tex Hoy attacking the edges and finding space. So they can be good on that side, but they need to be better defensively. Now, as a team, they've not really got anything to play for, except from pride and maybe to disrupt some other teams' seasons. And this is a great opportunity to do that, to take Warrington not completely out of the League Leaders Shield race mathematically, but to at least put a real dent in those hopes. So they need to be better on the defensive side. On the flip side, for Warrington, they need to start games so much better than they have done. Really poor starts over the last couple of weeks and being bullied through the middle. They can't afford to be bullied in these remaining games. They need to show dominance. They've got to be more aggressive, quicker play the balls. And I think part of that, I know some people like Sam Powell starting over Danny Walker. I think if you want quicker starts, you need Danny Walker at number 9. Simple as that. Because even if the forwards aren't creating those quick play the balls, he's a very intelligent and smart enough player to kind of use what you give him to get the speed from somewhere and even find a line break or two in his game. So, and he can link up with Williams and Dufty, who are great support players as well. So I think Warrington, they just need a really good start here. They need to assert some dominance. I think defensively, the only concern is if Matt Dufty is rested because he picked up what looked like a pretty bad injury at the time against Leeds. If they decide to give him a rest, that would be Thulis to fullback and Lindup on the right wing, most likely. I don't think Kai Taylor-Ray would be given, the shot at fullback straight away. I think they'd put Thulis there, Lindup on the right. Lindup under the high ball has been a little bit dodgy at times, and Roderick Ty with a new defensive partner who he's not used to could be a bit of a dodgy defensive display if that's what happens. I wouldn't be too disappointed if we drop Dufty just to give him a week off and make sure we don't, put him into a bad way or kind of force it against Castleford. So that is a chance for Castleford to find some points, but I just think Warrington have been strong enough defensively and are still spreading the ball around fairly well. The kicking game is strong enough. But yeah, can Castleford be another team to bully Warrington through the middle? Can they keep spreading the ball very quickly? And if they keep up defensive line speed to a high level, they'll shut down Warrington very easily because we cannot deal with teams with good defensive line speed. So if Castleford are quick on the defence, spread the ball quickly and efficiently, they do have a chance to be disruptive in this game. But I do think Warrington should be okay just because Castleford as a team have taken a bit of a step back recently. So I'm going to go with the Castleford Tigers 12, Warrington Wolves 30. Next up, we have St Helens taking on Hull Kingston Rovers, starting with league positions. Saints are in 4th, Hull KR are in 1st. For recent form, Saints have won 2 in their last 5 Super League games, Hull KR have won 5 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Saints in 6th, Hull KR in 1st. So starting with Saints, I think this is another great test for their young lads. They've been under a lot of pressure recently, they've had a lot of tough games, and I think they've been a real bright spark. I think one key player that's gone either under the radar or underappreciated a little bit is probably Moses Mbai. More of a number 9 in his career, but has played in the halves a good few times for Saints this season. And there are plenty of times where they lack creativity. And I think he's been a pretty helpful individual in that team to get them out of a lot of lackluster moments, create a few opportunities. They've still got some experienced regulars in that team here and there. Wormsley's now got some more minutes under his belt as well. So his fitness is hopefully up and they can at least be a bit more powerful through the middle, if anything. But on the side of Hull KR, they seem to be pretty, unshaken. Like, you can't really phase this team at the moment. On both sides of the ball, they look really, really strong. They spread the ball around nicely. As I mentioned in my power rankings video, they play with either a lot of depth or they were flat against Catalans, like they mixed it up a little bit, tried a few different things, or it looked different to me anyway, but just the way that they're running things at the moment looks great. I think Mikey Lewis, his kicking game has looked a lot better. I think the accuracy, like where he places them, looks better, and the kick chase off the back of it, they press teams back and make them have to do a hell of a lot of work to get out of their own end, and they'll do exactly the same to St Helens, who, with key players still missing, will find it difficult to stick to their usual process. They'll be relying on a lot of young players to get them out of some trouble. So I think Hull KR should be fairly comfortable in this game. I kind of said that last week against Catalans that they'll be fairly comfortable, but they went out and demolished them. I think the only difference is with Saints right now, I think they are still slightly better than Catalans, and if there are penalty opportunities, I think they'll just go for 2. They'll only go for tries if they really, really need them. But I think whenever, 2 points is available, Saints will go for them. And that'll be possibly the majority of their points. So I'm going to go with St Helens 12, Hull Kingston Rovers 28. Next up, we have Salford Red Devils taking on Huddersfield Giants. Starting with league positions, Salford are in 6th, Huddersfield are in 9th. For recent form, Salford have won 2. Huddersfield have also won 2 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have Salford in 5th and Huddersfield in 9th. So right now for Salford, I think defensively, they can be poor at times. They were poor at times against Leigh, but of course, as mentioned in my power rankings video, they had two players off at one point. It did overlap for a couple of minutes, but they did have to deal with some players out. So they are still a contender. They can still kick well, chase well. do some of the fundamentals well, but sometimes it's not quite there. So definitely not at the level of Catalans. They're a little bit too inconsistent for my liking, but a little bit more trustworthy than Catalans. It hasn't gotten nearly as bad for Salford as it has for the Dragons. I'll get on to Salford a bit more in a minute, but Huddersfield at the moment, they do appear to be better overall. They're at least quicker in attack, which is a good thing. They appear to be working harder, at least on both sides of the ball as well. The work rate does look better. The attitude looks better from the team as well. Just get a better feel around the Giants at the moment. They are maybe still a touch off those midfield teams. I don't think they're a team that can compete on a regular basis, but like with some other teams, they could throw up some questions and disrupt some seasons, a little bit like what I said for Castleford against Warrington. Huddersfield could throw up some problems for Salford if they're not on it, if they just don't get the fundamentals right, there's too many mistakes, which they can have in their game, but when they get those right and they just play solid, simple rugby league, Salford are a great team, and they've got a little bit of flair in that team as well. So I think as long as Salford get the basics right, they're not all over the place, they don't, the passes aren't inaccurate constantly, there's not too many penalties given away, so discipline's good, the handling's good, so they're not dropping the ball constantly. As long as they just keep the fundamentals proper, complete at a high rate over the course of 80 minutes, should just be better than this Huddersfield Giants team, which is improved, but is just not at the same level as Salford, typically this season. So Salford, for me, should be fine. But I think there is a good chunk of points that Huddersfield can score, because, as I said, their attack looks better, but Salford should be fine. So I'm going to go with Salford Red Devils 24, Huddersfield Giants 14. Next up, we have the London Broncos taking on Leigh Leopards. Starting with league position, London sit in 12th, Leigh are in 7th. For recent form, London have won 2 in their last 5 Super League games, Leigh have won 4 in their last 5 Super League games. For power rankings, I have London in 11th, Leigh in 4th. London right now, their attack looks really, really good. I'm so proud of them for it, honestly. Their attack looks really good. They just need to keep working on their defence and just keeping up the good work. They've had some good weeks defensively. Some it's not been so great. I mean, 36 against Warrington, it's not the end of the world. They've conceded more against Warrington this season, but it is better than what they conceded previously. So improvements, there you go. And obviously great defensive effort against Catalans and then Hull FC. So defensively, they've just got to keep it up. And against a Leigh team that right now seem to be flowing pretty nicely in attack, they've had some weeks where, attacking-wise, they've not been perfect, but they can be disruptive. Now, Leigh, their attack does look great. That is their best asset right now, but their defence does need to be a bit more resilient. And against this London team, it will be actually a pretty good test for them. And that's genuine. Like, London is a pretty good defensive test for a lot of teams at this point. So I think the only thing for Leigh is a little bit like what I said with Salford, is just be clean. And thanks for that. So rude. As I was saying, all Leigh need to do is just be as clean as they can, like with Salford. Make sure they're not giving away penalties and, giving London good field position, because now when they are in good field position, they punish teams. They look really, really creative and quick and exciting when they have the ball in attack. So they just need to keep the completion rate high, pin London back as much as possible, because Leigh are a fitter team, they're a quicker team. I think they're a bit bigger through the middle as well. So if they pin London back, make them work more through the middle, and force them to have to spread it and take risks deep in their own half, Leigh should be fine. But the final thing I'll say on this, of course I'm leaning towards Leigh because they are just a stronger team overall. But just a positive word on London, because I'm just so proud of them as a team. I just want to say nice things about them. But I don't think I'm bold enough to say that London is a team that can disrupt the top 3, really. Now, they had a decent effort against Warrington, but I don't think they play Warrington, Wigan or Hull KR again. I don't think they do. But I am bold enough to say London is a team now that can have a say on who makes playoffs. Even if they did play some of the top 3, I don't think they'd really, really ruin anyone's season. But I think London now, I'm bold enough to say, could disrupt somebody's playoff chances. because in attack they're getting it right. They really are. But I think Leigh, right now, 4th best in the league right now for me, as mentioned for my power rankings. This is a game that they should win, but it will be a good defensive test for them. So I'm going to go with London Broncos 16, Leigh Leopards 28. Finally, for this round, we have the Wigan Warriors taking on Hull FC. Starting with league position, Wigan sit in 2nd, Hull FC are in 11th. For recent form, Wigan have won 3 in their last 5 Super League games, Hull FC have won 1 in their last 5 Super League games, and in terms of power rankings, Wigan are in 2nd, Hull FC are in 12th. So, right now, Wigan are still going strong all round. They're still fine. Maybe not as potent as they were, obviously, when they had their full team available, but still, are there any real major complaints about them at the moment? Nothing crazy as of right now. I think more game time for the younger players is good for them going forwards. Would they feel like maybe resting anybody? Just 1 or 2 key players just to give some people a rest, because this isn't like a major test for them. Even if they did rest 1 or 2, I don't think they'd drop the ball again against Hull FC, but you never know. Maybe they don't want to risk it, but conversations might be had. It might be in Matt Pete's mind about maybe trying to give somebody a rest just to be safe. But for Hull FC, I'm not too sure what they can lean on. There was a period a few weeks ago where their attack maybe could help them out a bit, but I don't know what it is they can lean on. Can they lean on their attack to just outscore Wigan? Can they lean on the defence to just stay in the game long enough? Either of those, I don't think are really going to cut it for them right now. Now, unless that loss to London was such a massive kick up the backside that it gets players in gear and they just hit a new level, maybe they can be disruptive. Like, we didn't expect Wigan to lose to Hull FC a few weeks ago, but they did, and they weren't up for the fight. Maybe Hull FC really come out swinging, try some different things, chuck the ball around, and just come out with a level of pace and aggression that Wigan just aren't ready for. But I don't think that they'd let that happen again. I'm pretty sure they've learned their lesson from that and will not take anything for granted at this point in the season. And Wigan are just, as we know, a clearly better team. I don't think they'll drop the ball again. So I'm going to go with Wigan Warriors 28, Hull FC 6. So that's going to be it for my Super League Round 23 predictions. If you've got your own, do let me know in the comments down below, or let me know how you got on last week. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. It does help to get the video out there to more people. And subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with more Rugby League content. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.